Hey, thanks for watching, and today we're going to talk about how to draw a room. Just straight up how to draw a room. I'm going to try to keep it as, drawing a room specific as I can and not dive into the other areas of Mozaik because that could be a 10-hour video. So we're just going to straight up show you how to draw a room. So the first step is to hit File and then New. I'll just call it Drawing Test. This is the name of the job, so you may want to name it the first name, last name of your customer or builder or whatever you want to name it. Click OK. You'll always start on the Job tab, and by a rule of thumb, and also in most of the places in Mozaik, you want to work your way from the left to the right through the tabs. So here you start with the Job tab. You can fill out the customer name. Of course, you could also make the job name the customer name. If you're using a builder's name, you could name the builder's name here and then have the customer name down here. The address of the project, 29 Test Drive, 705 555 5555. Email, test email at test.com. Okay, then here in job notes, you're going to want to use that to fill out any specified notes that you just need somewhere to type that's not on the actual plan itself. You can type that in right here. Drawings, you can add different drawings within the job itself. These ones here, well, here I am explaining more than I have to. We're just drawing a room here. So let's go. I'll show you these later. You just can add different little things, but instead I'm just going to jump right into Settings tab. So in the Settings tab here, you want to set up your doors. You should have something already set up here as a template. Pick your doors. I'm not going to go into this, but here you just go through and pick your doors. Here you pick your drawer slide style. This should automatically populate for you. You shouldn't really have to do much here. Add your panels, what kind of panels you want. I mean, if you're drawing a specific job, this is where you would set it. Your material templates, you set that. Then you go to your textures. You will definitely be in here changing the colors of the textures and stuff in here. I have videos on this as well, so you could just click on those to learn how to use this. You can change your default library. You can change your closet route of your shelf pins and any appliance things you want to add in this last tab here. So now we're really getting into the thick of the drawing a room and designing something. So we go into the Room tab next. Easiest thing to do is do a quick room and just click a wall or click a galley kitchen or a U-shaped kitchen or a full square kitchen. That's the easiest thing to do. The other thing you want to do, I'm just going to change my units to inches. So just to explain what these different numbers here are, so I'm going to go back to the Settings tab. So when you drop into here, actually I'll just undo everything I just did so that it's just a blank canvas. So as soon as you drop into this, and if you don't click Quick Room, you're left with this here. The first thing you want to do is set your room height. So the full floor to finish ceiling height, I'm going to set it at something specific like 95.75. Your room soffit, as you'll see it updates, is the distance from the top of the upper cabinet to the ceiling. So I have a 36-inch wall cabinet, so it's making my room soffit 5 3/4. You can override that. Say you want this to be 34. It's just going to change your elevation. So if you have, we install at 54 from the floor plus 34. 88 minus 95.75. So my soffit should be 7 3/4. All right. So that way I have a 34-inch upper cabinet, and I have a 7 3/4-inch room soffit. Again, that's distance from upper top to ceiling. And that's just the way Mozaik does it. Base cabinets, that's your base cabinet height, wall cabinet height, fridge cabinet height, hood cabinet height. It's just going to automatically go, oh, do you want this to be a fridge cabinet height when you drag in a cabinet above a fridge? This is the clearances left and right of a fridge, window, door, range. Those could be loaded and saved here. So if you have, you may have a standard build style here, which you probably do. You'd want to save it as a default here. So this is the standard depths. You click the standard depths. Widths, clearances, and openings and such. So from this point, you can now click quick room and it will follow these parameters, or you can just manually draw walls. So you can draw from there and there and there. You always want to be drawing clockwise, because if you do it the other way, if you can see these, here, let me just escape out of there. If you can see these little dotted lines here, that's how you know that's a spot where you can drag a cabinet in. If you draw counterclockwise, let's just undo everything I just did. So if I draw it counterclockwise, you can see that all the cabinet spaces are showing up on the back side of my room, which I do not want. So I want to always be drawing clockwise, and you can do whatever you have to do here. It'll usually lock on to 45 and 22 degrees and stuff like that. You just draw it out. It's gonna automatically pick this height here, so these walls will all be 95 3/4. If you click the wall, you'll see here 95 3/4. You can change your length, you can change your thickness of the wall, your rotation, and your bulge. I'm not going to get too much into that. We're going to try and keep it as this is basically the basic intro into how to draw something. So you can change your length here to 100 inches. Change this one to 144. This little dialog box shows up when you're telling it to change a dimension. It's just asking you if you want to go left, right, or both. Both is going to stretch equally in both directions. Right's just going to stretch it from here over. Left will lock this location and stretch it that way. So I'll just show you left. It's going to stretch it on the left side. This side here, we're going to set it at 150. Same dialog box. I want it to go down, so I'm going to stretch on the right side. And that's probably, you get the idea of what we're doing here. Drawing out a wall, set your dimensions. You can also add a backspace to any of the spots here. So backspace and a left space. Another thing you can do is add an island. So again, moving from left to right within the tabs is the best way to work through Mozaik. You don't want to be clicking over in the molding tab right now or anything. You're working left to right. So now you've got some walls. We can do a little 3D view here. See, I got some walls built up like this. You can also change the corner if you want to join the back faces together, kind of like this mitered edge here is. You right click and it will show up this dialog box. Same thing here, and you can join that corner. I don't know if this matters or not, but some people just prefer to see that. It is better if you're drawing something on the back space. Now it'll bring it all the way to here, whereas otherwise it'll stop it there. So you may want to join that so that you can pull a cabinet all the way to the end. So now that we have a space, let's go to the islands. So add an island. You can add different types of islands: a double-sided island, an L-shaped island, double-sided L-shaped island, hockey stick island. Most of us are going to be using this style here. So you want to, these little handles here, you can drag it longer, shorter. This one rotates, this one drags around. So, and again, you can see that little boundary box going around. That's where you're going to drop your cabinets. If you have a two-sided island and you didn't click that double-sided island button on the islands tab, this here, that's okay. We can do it ourselves right here. Backspace, you can see that activates the boundary box on the back side. So now you can drop cabinets on both sides. You can also hit the left space and or the right space, and it's going to add a boundary box to each end. So now you can drop cabinets on the ends. Okay, so that's islands. A T-wall is simply a wall within that's on a wall. So you can add a T-wall. You see it just drops it in randomly, and then you just set it on the wall you want it to be on. So say I want it to be on wall 3. And you can also select wall 3 on the back because we've activated the backspace. And another thing too is if you're going to do a bulkhead, this is silly in my opinion. There should be a real bulkhead function in Mozaik, but there really is not. So the trainers recommend you use the T-wall function, and you drag in a T-wall, and then you go to the elevation view on the products tab. Okay, and then you're going to select your height. My bulkhead's 12 inches high, and then your elevation from the floor is 83 point, did I get that right? 83.75, and then you're going to make it the full width of the wall. Center it on the wall, yeah. Alright, so now you have a bulkhead. You may want to change the depth to something like 14. There you go, you have a bulkhead. Not really the best way to do it in my opinion. I'm sure someone with a bright mind at Mozaik should be able to make something better than that, but it is what it is, it works. So next thing we want to do is we go back to the room tab. So we showed you the T-walls, how to add a bulkhead, a window. You may want to add a window here. You can do it in the other tab as well. You can change walls. Say you have a window in the center of that wall. You want to add a sink. You can also put it on wall 2. You can center it on the window with this button. You can put a dishwasher on the left or right just by clicking this button. You can also add a dishwasher this way as well in the dishwasher tab. You can then add a fridge. Let's put it on wall 4. You can add a range. We're going to turn this. Oops. This island's a bit big for this little room. We'll just make this bigger. There. Okay, so we are into the range, so we've dropped a range. You can drop a regular hood in here. Of course, there's better hoods in the appliances library, so you may want to ditch that and go for that one instead. Add doors. You can change the width, height, and position and elevation of all these things just within this menu right here. You may want to add a bath fixture. I don't think I've ever used that feature. It's plumbing stub out. Never did use that one, but it basically just adds a little plumbing stub out of the wall. Outlets is handy. You can add an electrical outlet, and you can change it from a wall switch to a double switch to a double plug, change the width, height, elevation, and such, same as everything else. And that's it for this tab. So then we're going to go into the products tab. So the library has, this is my personal library that I've done a lot of modifications to, but it's pretty much has the same thing in the main library with a few exceptions. What you're going to do is go through your bases. So you have base cabinets, wall cabinets, you have wall end panels, you have corner cabinets, base corner cabinet, this is our most common one, base corner, blind corners, you have garbage pullouts, wall end panels, corner cabinets, and then it gets into tall cabinets. You got tall end panels. That's just basically a left and right panel. And then you got some miscellaneous stuff such as doors, toe kicks, things like that. This is our, like I said, this is our personal library, but the main Mozaik library is pretty similar. We just kind of changed things to make it our own. So you usually want to start with your sink cabinet, drop it on the window, make sure that is centered on the window with this button right here. It looks like it is. So then you'd want to start doing your corners. So I'm going to do a base corner. Of course I have a door here, so it's not going to work. We're going to get rid of that. Okay, so you have a corner cabinet here. And then maybe you want to add in a drawer. It's simply dragging and dropping everything in. This, you can see I have a finished panel here, which I do not want. So I'm going to make no finished panel there. I'll leave the finished panel there. And then this one, I would put, this one's a little bit big for anything there, but I'll put a blind cabinet in there. Let's put a right-sided Le Mans in there. Oops. There we go. Of course, your sizings maybe are going to be specific, so you're going to be putting in specific measurements and stuff, but I'm just showing you how you drag and drop different things in. Here maybe I want a little filler right here. So I have base fillers. Oh, I actually deleted all my base fillers and added the Frost CNC notched filler library, which is absolutely amazing. If you don't have it already, get this library, Frost CNC. Drag that in there. And it's put it on the wrong wall. I guess it would be that one I want. It's on wall 2. Change the outset to 16. That's too small. There. So now we have something like that. This doesn't matter if it's long, it's just going to be too quick 3D view here. So you can see I now have a filler there. And go back to our main library, 3-drawer bank, and again you're just dragging and dropping everything in here. Simple as that. This is the easiest part of Mozaik. The setup of Mozaik is really tedious and time consuming. This is the easy part. You can do a wall 45 corner. Maybe you want one in each corner. Wall pair door there. You can also see if I go to the elevation view, it's dropping all my cabinets at 34 inches high with 7 3/4 inches from the cabinet from the top of the cabinet to the ceiling with an elevation of 54. It's also setting my cabinets 3 inches, and I'll go back there. So I had this clearances, window and door clearances, 3 inches. So in that menu, it does not account for applied panels. So keep that in mind. It's giving me 2 1/4, and then my 3/4 panel equals 3 inches. So my cabinet itself is 3 inches from the actual window, set by that setting in the main menu there. So let's just drop a few cabinets on. We'll drop one on the right side of this. I will drag in a 3-drawer here. This island's way too big for this little room, but that's okay. 3-drawer. We're just going to do a really little island. One handy feature is, I'm just going to make sure I only have the finished ends I want. So I want a left side finished end. You can select 2 cabinets and then equalize the widths. That will make them the same width. Another nice thing is if you say you want to have a back panel with a bunch of shaker panels on it. If you grab this cabinet door, drop it into, of course I have my back face activated here. I'm going to change my depth to 0. And then I'm going to stretch this right across. This guy here is actually past the end, which I don't want. And then I want to equalize the widths again. Of course, it's not showing up now. Mozaik is kind of fussy like this sometimes. Right. There. Okay, so just to show you this back panel, another thing too is if you're stuck somewhere and you can't click the thing you're trying to grab, such as this door, I keep grabbing the wall, that's not helping me. You can use this selection box tree here and click what you're trying to click here, click your edit window, now I'm into this cabinet. So here you can override your door, you can select shaker. Oh, I have the wrong door actually to do this with, so let's delete that. We'll select the one with the hinge. I know it doesn't need a hinge, but again, we're going to set the depth at 0. Stretch it right across. Edit. I don't need the handle, so I'm going to adjust. I'm going to delete the hinges. I'm going to delete the pull. Or you can also write none here as well. Then I'm going to go to the shape tab. I'm going to hit adjust. No, I don't want to adjust. Why isn't it showing me my override? I think we can do it here. Override, shaker. This is the window I was looking for. So I want to section this so that it looks more like a shaker back panel kind of thing. So override, select this. I'm going to make my top 3, bottom 6, styles 3, center style 3, and I'm going to split it into 3 equal sections. And click OK. Now you got a nice little shaker back panel. Looks pretty sharp. You can also do that to the sides of the cabinet by clicking here, shape, or section, select door style, shaker, and I actually have one preset. Get yourself your nice little shaker panel island. Looks pretty sharp. Okay, so you may want to add a chimney hood here. So we'll go to Appliances V12. I'm going to go to where is the hoods at? So we have standard hoods. We have a chimney hood, a couple different styles of that. Standard hood, glass hood, pro hood. I'm going to drag this one in. Drag it close and then hit this little center above object button. That centers it right over the stove. And then we'll go to our fridge wall. Go back to our regular library. I want to make this 30 inches from the left. And then I want to add fridge upper with dividers. That's where it asks you for that 18 inch. You want to go 18 for the height. I'm going to go 37 wide for half an inch clearance on each side. That's a full 72 inch fridge, so this should be 15 perhaps. I have these panels preset for adding these extensions on the sides. So what you're going to want to do is go shape, adjust side, and I want this to be 73. Okay, and then I want to add a tall cabinet. Perhaps I should add a filler first. Oops. There we go. I have it set to actually extend into the wall just so I can have some extra space, and also because it holds on my CNC better. That's why it's extending past. And then I'm going to add a tall cabinet, and I'll do pair doors. Okay, and then the last thing I'll usually do is line up these two doors here. And that's basically it. Once you get that set up, then you can go into the Tops tab, Auto Build Tops. Get yourself pre-made countertop. This is not quite working, so I'm going to edit the shape on the floor plan. I'm going to drag that point there, and I'm just going to drag this one into the corner. Accept my edits, redo the cutout. Then, I guess I could also add some overhang on the back. And I'm going to go molding, automatic mold. We have a crown with a riser, but I'll just do a crown on top of the cabinet. We'll do a light rail and toe skins for the toe kicks. Whoops. Light rail, toe skins. Okay. Little 3D view. So that's how you're drawing out your cabinets for the client. And pretty much all the basics for how to draw a room. I have several other videos if you want to get deeper into how to draw a room or different things you could do inside a room. Check those out if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.